welcome back to my channel. This is Dori, I'm a teacher of English, and today we're going to talk about IELTS speaking part 1. Okay, so in part 1 they're going to ask you personal questions. The questions are going to be quite simple, but that doesn't mean that you should answer in a yes or no manner. No, always try to develop your questions a little bit more. Not endlessly, just a little bit more and to the point. For example, if they ask you, where are you from? Your answer could be, I come from Italy. Okay, this could be an answer. However, we do not want that. Ideally, you should be a little bit more descriptive. For example, you could say, I come from a small town located in central Italy called Macerata. So, can you see the difference? Both answers answer to the question, right? However, the second one is a little bit more descriptive. So this is what you aim for. Try to answer by giving more information, all right? Use adjectives in order to add more details. In this case, we have, you describe your town, so you could use adjectives such as small, big, touristic, in the countryside, etc. It is better to show that you have more things to say than not having anything to say at all. Okay, so now let's see an example question and how you can develop your answer to the point until the examiner interrupts you.
Okay, here's a question that you could be asked. Let's read it. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? So let's see how we can develop our answer. Let's read. I would like to live in a large town, preferably in Europe. So you start by answering the question using a descriptive adjective, in this case large, over here. Yes, but don't stop here. Move on by giving more details. Let's see. I would prefer a country in the Central or Southern Europe, though, to be more specific. So this is what you actually do. You become even more specific. You say that you would like to live in Europe, and then you say where exactly in Europe. Okay, one step at a time. Now, it should be time to move on by giving your reasons why you'd like to live in Southern Europe, okay? So let's read. I cannot stand the climate of northern countries, that's why. I hate cold and snow, so I would choose a capital city of the European South. Now, you give your reasons, you become even more specific, a capital city. Okay, most probably here the examiner will stop you now to move on to the next question due to time constraints. And it is not a bad sign if the examiner stops you. He has to follow, certain time limits. But you should give the impression that you're able to talk even more. So let's see what else you could have said. Let's read. I would prefer... Just a moment. Yes, I would prefer a capital city than a village because I like the fact that I can find everything I like pretty easily and I have so many choices during the day. So yes, you move on by explaining why you would prefer a larger city than a village. And, this could go on and on and on. However, you must be very careful to be on topic. Do not lose track. For example, the question was, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why, obviously. So you talk about that. Don't end up talking about that you would like to travel to a space country or something like that, okay? So always be on topic, give your reasons, develop your answers, elaborate a little bit on the reasons, and that's it. You will do fine. The examiner will stop you and move on to the next question.
So, in part 1, you know more or less what they're going to ask you in terms of questions. They're going to ask you about your hometown, your studies, your work, traveling, your interests, hobbies, family and friends, etc. However, please do not memorize answers. Examiners can definitely understand that easily, and this will count against you. So the best thing you can do is to practice by answering many questions, as many questions as you can, and you will get better. So let's recap. Number 1, Do not answer with a simple yes or no or with one word. Number 2, develop your answers as much as you can to the point by adding details. And number 3, be prepared and ready to talk about certain topics. For example, your hometown, your country, your birthplace, family and friends, your hobbies, your interests, your work, your job, your ideal job that you have in your mind, traveling, etc., etc., etc. The list is endless, but the questions are more or less the same, and they're going to be personal, so you know more or less what to answer. If you want example questions to practice for your IELTS Speaking Part 1, you can download my free ebook on my website at this link over here. And also I have added a few model answers that they may help you. Thank you for watching. Good luck with your exam. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it helps. If this is your first time here, I would like to see you subscribe for more videos related to English. If you have any questions or comments, you can ask me here or on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and of course my website. All links are down below. Thank you very much for watching again. Take care. Bye-bye.